the very first impressions that you had?
I see clouds,
Wonderful.
and it's bright.
It's bright. Do you want to step out into that brightness?
Yes.
Good. As you step out, tell me what you notice.
There's a golden bridge that leads up.
Leads up?
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful. Tell me more about this bridge.
It's curvy and appears to be floating through the clouds.
How do you get to the bridge?
It connects to the elevator. I can step on it.
Is that someplace you would like to go?
Mm-hmm.
Good. So tell me what happens when you do step onto it.
I hear a bell sound, and the bridge sort of like vibrates, pulses out. If I take a step forward, each footstep has that same effect, a chime and a pulsation.
A chime with each step.
Mm-hmm.
Is this a high-pitched or low-pitched?
High-pitched.
What do you feel as you hear this chime and feel the vibration?
Feels affirmative that I'm going the right way.
Wonderful. What do you notice up ahead?
It leads up into this building, like a library.
What do you notice around the bridge?
It's clouds, and the sky is sort of pink and golden. There's other buildings floating on the clouds.
Tell me about those other buildings.
They're all connected by these bridges, like a grid system. And there's one building per cloud. The clouds are really big.
And do you notice any other beings around?
There's some tall blue beings.
Can you describe them for me?
They're not wearing any clothes. They're tall, skinny, like poles. They're like flat, long poles. But they have arms and legs that are long.
Do they have facial features?
They have 2 eyes and a nose and a mouth. Their necks they're not significantly longer than ours, but they're long. And they have elongated heads. The top of their head is tall.
So they have long heads.
Mm-hmm.
Do they speak with their mouths?
Yeah, the mouths kind of open like a bug. Instead of 2 lips that open, it's sort of like a...
Okay, so it splits in the middle?
It splits in the middle and opens like a circle.
Okay. Do their eyes open and close?
Yes. It doesn't look like they have pupils. There's no white around their eyes. It's just all a dark color, their whole eyes.
When their mouths open to speak, do you hear and understand them?
They don't speak in a language I understand, but I think I can connect with them.
Do you feel like you have a physical presence?
Yes.
Can you look down and tell me about your feet?
I feel human. I have human feet, but they're sort of golden and glowing.
Do you feel male or female?
Female.
And then above the feet, what do you feel like you're wearing?
I have a dress on.
Can you describe it?
It's light pink. It goes to my knees, long sleeves, and it's plain.
And are you aware of any hair that you have?
Yes, I have really long hair.
What color?
Blonde.
And are you aware of holding or carrying anything?
I have a crystal in my hand.
Can you tell me about it?
It's gold. Maybe pyrite. It's dense and heavy.
What properties does it seem to have?
It has some sharp edges, but it's smooth in some places and rough in other places.
What do you do with this crystal?
I think it helps keep me grounded in my body and my energy while I travel.
Good. How do you feel in this place with the bridges and the clouds?
Very enchanted, curious, and happy. It's beautiful.
And tell me about where it is that you're going on this bridge.
I'm walking to the library, straight ahead.
What do you feel like you're going to do at the library?
It has a message for me.
Now let's move forward to when you arrive the library. And now you're there at the library. What can you tell me about that?
2 of the blue beings are standing at the door, and they open it for me when I walk in. They each open a door, and I walk in. There's a spiral staircase in the middle, and there's a ton of floors. It's a square building, and I can see all of the books lined up around the perimeter, all the way up on each floor. There's tables in the middle of the floor, and there's some beings, and they're sitting at the tables.
What type of beings are those?
There's more blue beings, some reptilian-looking beings, little gray beings, and feline beings, and bird beings.
I'm not very familiar with the felines or the birds. Can you describe them for me?
Their faces look like female lions, and they wear a headdress thing.
Tell me about that.
It looks like an Egyptian headdress with patterns on it. It goes down to their shoulders.
What type of patterns?
Lines and squares and diamonds.
Do they seem to represent something or mean anything?
They represent our sun.
And what about the bird beings?
They have beaks, and they also have these headdresses on. They have what looks like a human body with these skirts on that go to their knees.
Just skirts? Nothing on top?
Mm-mm.
How would you describe their beaks?
They curve down. They're pretty wide, and they're black.
And what are all of these various beings doing there?
They're reading books and passing them to each other. They're walking in and out of the library. There's a lot of activity going on. They don't talk to each other, they just telepathically communicate.
Does everyone seem to get along?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Does anyone notice you?
I know they notice me, but they're still working and communicating and looking at the books.
How do you feel being in this building?
I feel safe. It feels very homey. I feel like I've been there before.
Do you know where you're going in the building?
I'm going up the spiral staircase.
And do you know where you need to get off the staircase?
There's a blue being guiding me, and he holds, I want to say he, but it seems neutral. It holds its arm out to get off at a floor.
What do you notice on that floor?
There is a golden book that's shining out from the rest.
What is it sitting on?
It's on the bookshelf with the rest of them.
What's special about that book?
It just shines really bright among the rest of them. It instantly caught my attention. It looks like pure light.
It looks like pure light.
Yeah, in the shape of a book.
What is this book about?
Pyramids.
What are you supposed to do with the book?
I think I'm supposed to take it back with me. It said I could take it.
Do you need to check it out, or can you just take it?
I can take it.
How does it feel when you pick it up?
It feels very light, and I sense its power. It has a lot of energy.
What are you supposed to do with this book?
I need to bring it to Earth
How do you do that?
with the crystal that I have. The being is showing me how to place the crystal on top of the book and hold my hand over the crystal, and it absorbs the information. It draws it out of the book, and as it does that, the light flows into the crystal from the book, and then the book looks ordinary. Now the information is encoded in the crystal.
So you don't need the physical book?
No. Now I can put the book back, and I have the information in the crystal.
Do you notice any markings or any letters or anything on the book?
There are some markings in a different language that I don't consciously understand. Different symbols and shapes.
And now what do you do with the crystal?
I hold on to it, and I can take it with me.
How do you go back to Earth?
There's a different building on a different cloud. That's a transportation center.
Now we're leaving the library. We're going to drift and float to the transportation building. And now we're there. Can you tell me this place?
It's very busy. There's these chambers lined up in the middle of the building. One being can fit in one chamber. You step in it like a tube, and it closes and sends the being off. It goes down through the floor, and then the chamber sort of just disappears, and it can take off in any direction it needs to.
Does it feel like you're familiar with this system of travel?
Mm-hmm.
So you've done it before?
Yes.
How does it feel when you travel like this?
It's very fast. It's almost instant. Feels like you get into a current, and it takes off.
Do you see or experience anything of the journey?
I see a rush of light past me, and a cool breeze, and there's a high-pitched frequency.
Does it feel like there are any dangers of this type of travel?
No.
Whenever you're ready, take this method of travel. We're going to go down to the earth and let me know when you arrive.
I'm there.
Good. And what do you notice? What's the first thing you're aware of?
I'm at the pyramids in Egypt. There's humans walking around, but they don't see me.
Can you tell me a bit about how these humans are dressed?
They look modern. They're wearing all sorts of different clothes. They're using their phones. They're talking and not really paying attention.
And what kind of shape do you notice the pyramids in?
They look ordinary. They look like themselves, like the pyramids, but there's an aura around them. It's orange.
An orange aura. Does this aura also surround the people there?
No.
What do you feel the orange aura indicates?
It's a different vibration from everything else on Earth. It's in a different dimension.
Is the aura in a different dimension, or is it the pyramid that's in a different dimension?
Both. I think I'm in a different dimension with it. The people don't notice me.
They don't see you because you're in a different dimension. I understand. Now, what does it feel like you've come here to do?
I need to put the crystal inside the pyramid.
How do you know where it goes?
I can walk through the pyramids. I don't have to go through a door. I can just float inside them, and there's an empty room in the middle, and I can put the crystal there.
What does the crystal do there?
It beams the light through the top of the pyramid, through the tip of the pyramid, in a straight line.
For what purpose?
It's anchoring its frequency and spreading it out through other dimensions.
What does that do?
I see the beam of light. It goes up to infinity and down to infinity, and the pyramid is energetically spinning around the beam of light.
What does that do when it spins?
There's pulses of the pyramid that break away on either side. So like a snapshot of the pyramid spinning will start spinning up on the pole of light, the beam of light. Snapshots of the pyramid will start spinning down on the beam of light. And so they start breaking off different versions of the pyramid. Every second, one goes up and down, and it creates like this ripple.
I'm sure that it's very striking looking, but what does that do? What effect does it have?
It's sending a message out to other beings in the galaxy.
What message?
Earth is ready to wake up, and it needs help.
And who is this message meant for?
The feline beings.
Are there any other beings it's for?
I think it's primarily for them, but anyone else who has something to offer can answer the call.
What do the feline beings do once they receive this message? Or do they receive the message?
They do receive the message.
Okay.
They float into the pyramid and form a circle around me.
And then what?
And they hold hands, and the spinning stops, and they want to talk.
And tell me what happens next.
I step forward and face the one in charge, and it puts its hands out, palms facing me. It doesn't say anything, but that's how it communicates with me.
What do you feel it wants to communicate?
Something about time. the nature of time. There's levels of time. It wants me to stop thinking about time in a linear fashion and think about it as planes, levels.
Can you tell me a bit more about that so I can conceptualize it?
You can picture it as being vertical rather than a horizontal linear timeline where there's layers of time stacked on top of each other, but they're in the same place. It's all one place. When we're in between layers, we feel uncomfortable. And when we reach a new layer of time, it's like we fall into place, we fall into this groove, and things sort of like click into place, and we feel more comfortable and at ease. What's happening now is we're in between planes of time. The Earth being as a whole is diverging timelines, and there's a separation occurring between the planes of time that it inhabits, so it feels very uncomfortable.
Is there anything to do to make it feel more comfortable?
The beings need to settle down and go within, stop trying to take power from others, but tap into inner power to shift into a different plane of time.
What does shifting into a different plane of time do?
A higher plane of time is a higher vibration, because time and vibration are interrelated, and it feels lighter, less dense.
This message is for you, but is it also for any others?
It's for everybody in the galaxy, but especially Earth. They're encoding this information into my consciousness as a way to plant a seed in the collective consciousness.
Is there anything else that's interesting or important to mention about this?
Pyramids are like focal points or hinges of time planes. They're like portals. They facilitate a shift in time planes.
Is this the pyramids in Egypt or any pyramid?
Any pyramid.
Any pyramid. Does it matter what size the pyramid?
No.
So if I were to construct a smaller pyramid, perhaps the size of a room or smaller, would this also serve as a portal or a focal point?
Yes.
I see. What would happen inside a pyramid?
It's like time travel, but think of it as moving up and down. That's not actually what happens, but it's more accurate to visualize a vertical movement rather than a horizontal movement, shifting up and down planes of time.
Rather than left and right.
Mm-hmm.
What happens to objects placed in pyramids?
They can also be transmuted to different time planes.
Is there anything special we need to do to these objects to transmute them in the pyramids?
They have to be charged by the spin of the pyramid first.
Okay, that's very interesting. Now, let's leave this scene. We're going to drift and float to an important day in this life. And now we're there. What can you tell me about what's happening?
I see a lot of pyramids, big pyramids like the ones in Egypt, in a circle. I'm standing in the middle of the circle. There are blue beings walking around, and there's humans everywhere walking around too.
Are the blue beings and humans aware of each other?
Yes.
And who seems to originate in this place with the circle of pyramids? Which beings are the ones who are native?
It's Earth,
It's Earth.
the humans.
Okay. How large are these pyramids?
They're huge, the size of the Great Pyramids.
Is it day or night?
It's day. Blue beings are guiding humans into the pyramid.
Do the humans seem to want to go into these pyramids?
Yes, they're lined up, waiting to go in.
Why do they need to go in the pyramids?
They're now aware of the travel the pyramids facilitate. So this is like a travel center. They're going in the pyramids one at a time to go to a different time plane.
Are all of the pyramids suitable for travel?
Yes.
So it doesn't matter which one they go in?
No.
Do they all?
I think the pyramids are organized by, they're programmed to different time planes that the humans can choose to go to. But they can be changed. They just have them programmed to organize the system.
About how many pyramids are there?
There's 6.
And about how many humans are there?
Hundreds, maybe 1,000.
About how many of the blue beings are there?
About 50.
How are the blue beings organized?
There's one at the entrance of each pyramid,
Mm-hmm.
and there's other beings walking around the perimeter of it to check on how things are going. And there's beings walking down the lines of humans,
Mm-hmm.
getting information from them.
How do the humans know where they want to go?
I don't think they consciously choose. I think it's more of a unconscious soul choice, and they're trusting it. They just know what line to get in.
And where are you?
I'm standing in the middle,
No. What are you
with
doing there?
observing the whole thing.
Do you feel like you're going to go into one of these pyramids?
I have before. I think I'm working with the blue beings now in this travel center to help others travel.
How do the humans know that this is here and available?
They've been initiated into this knowledge in this place. It feels like we're in a different dimension than the present dimension on the majority of Earth. Humans have been initiated into this dimension, and they have access to this travel.
Are all humans initiated?
No.
Which humans are initiated?
The ones that incarnated here to help raise the frequency. They've released their karma. Now they're ready to explore other time planes. The humans that are still working through karma are in a lower dimension.
Are the humans who have been initiated aware of the others?
They know that they're there, but they don't have any business with them. There's no connection.
Do the ones who have not been initiated, are they aware of the ones who have been?
No.
For the ones who were initiated, did they mix with the ones who would stay and not be initiated?
Yes.
So once they are initiated, what do the others think happens to them? Do they disappear? Can they come and go?
There's a parallel version of them that's not initiated that remains among the other ones, but their consciousness has split off into the initiated version of themselves. That's where their awareness lies.
And what about the parallel version?
It's of no concern to them anymore, but they continue their life in that dimension among the other uninitiated humans, and they think all is the same.
Do they not have any consciousness, though?
They have a consciousness, but it is playing out without the awareness of that individual anymore. It's a parallel version of themselves, but they've chosen the initiated path, so that's where their awareness follows.
What happens with the soul that had been inhabiting this parallel version? Does the soul split?
It transfers to another being. So another soul actually inhabits those bodies. But
Which bodies?
the bodies of the initiated people who left those bodies behind. Other souls come in who are meant to be on that earth plane.
And they inhabit the body that's left behind?
They inhabit the bodies, but part of the contract is they have to continue the lives and business and karma of, not karma, they finish their karma, but they inhabit the life and condition, the memories, the thoughts of that being they left behind.
Is this a walk-in? Could this be defined as a walk-in, or is it something different?
They can just walk into it.
Okay, so a walk-in soul. And do you feel you inhabit your original body, or does someone else inhabit that original body?
Someone else inhabits the original body.
And what type of body do you have?
I look similar, but it's It's more of a light body. It's more pure and light and golden, but it's the same basic avatar.
Are you solid and physical?
Yes, but auras are much brighter, more visible.
I know in the story of the resurrection of Jesus that some did not recognize him when he returned because his body was lighter and brighter and somewhat golden. Is this similar or is it different?
It's the same thing, yep.
Same thing.
Mm-hmm.
I see. Truly ascension.
Mm-hmm.
Is it possible for humans to go through this process consciously without being chosen by the blue ones?
Yes, it's the only way. They initiate themselves.
Initiate themselves. Did the blue beings go through anything like this?
A long time ago. Eons ago. It wasn't quite the same process, but they initiated themselves. Their whole race became initiated, which shifted the consciousness of their planet, the whole dimension of their planet. They shifted together eventually.
So why are they assisting with our process?
One of the results of being initiated is intergalactic communication and connection with other initiated beings and races in the universe. It's working on a higher playing field.
So I would like to return to the humans who are traveling through these portals in the pyramids. When they travel to other time spaces, do they get to come back again?
Yes, they're free to travel where they want to.
So why would one of them want to travel to another time space?
To explore and grow, expand their connections, meet beings who they've had previous engagements with in other lives, reconnect, visit places that they've had previous engagements with, reconnect with those places, and then find new places and beings to connect with, continue their soul's journey.
Is there anything further that is interesting or important to mention?
The inside of the pyramid is similar to the apparatus that holds a fixed vibrational rate. Not a fixed, but holds the space for the vibrational rates to change inside the pyramid, which is a process that facilitates the travel.
Is there any consideration that needs to be taken in the construction of such pyramids?
There are crystals lining the walls of the pyramid.
What type of crystals?
Crystals that allow light to pass through and change, allow the light to change as it passes through. They're all different color crystals.
Are the walls made of these crystals, or are they made of something else and lined with them?
They're lined with them. They have an outer structure to hold up the pyramid and structure it, and the crystals are lined on the inside of the walls.
Does it matter what material the walls are made of?
Something very sturdy like stone.
And then what about the form of the pyramids? Are there any special considerations of the form of the pyramids?
Celestial alignments.
Tell me more about that.
The tip of the pyramids need to align with certain points in space. The ecliptic or equinox needs to align with that.
So the shape of the pyramid, is there any special consideration to that?
All sides equal, equilateral pyramid.
Do they need to be any particular size?
Whatever they are transforming or changing needs to be able to fit inside the pyramid.
Okay.
But the bigger the pyramid, the more power it can generate.
Do these pyramids need any external power source?
I think just solar light.